Hello there, fellow humans, and welcome to this video. And today I want to make a couple of predictions for the F1 2022 season, because obviously I am not an expert at it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I think let's see how this goes, and at the end of the year we'll see how much I actually got right and how miserably I failed otherwise. So let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time, and obviously don't forget to like and subscribe. Now we're going to start at the top, obviously, with who is going to become the Drivers' World Championship. And for that, I'm going to predict that it's going to be the Banana Man. Because I think that Red Bull and Mercedes, they kind of compromised their 2021 season a bit. And Ferrari had a lot more time to focus on 2022. While Red Bull and Mercedes were a lot fighting for 2021, which obviously Verstappen won. So I do think that Ferrari is going to come out on top this year. And that is also going to lead to Leclerc becoming the Drivers' Champion. And then probably Verstappen and Hamilton in P2 and P3. Because obviously they're insanely good drivers. So I don't think they're going to have that taken away unless they're going to have really, really bad cars, which, to be honest, I don't think. But overall, I think that Ferrari is going to have the best car, and that will allow Leclerc to become the driver champion. And also, obviously, Sainz is going to secure the Constructors' Championship. The guy is insanely consistent. He's insanely good. So I don't think that there's going to be massive mistakes there as well. And that he's also going to secure his first win in F1. However, that win is going to be overshadowed by something completely controversial, which means no one will remember that Carlos Sainz actually won a race, which would be very, very typical for him. Then we're going to go down the order. We're going to go to Mercedes. What's going to happen? Well, Hamilton is not going to have a great season. However, he is going to beat George Russell. Not necessarily in qualifying, but I think in the races he is going to have the upper hand and do that massively. Same goes for Red Bull. While Perez is not a bad driver, Max Verstappen is just a completely different level, and they've also signed a new contract till 2028, so they're going to keep him, and he's going to perform very well, and I don't expect anything to happen there. Then we go down the order a bit, and now we go to McLaren, because I think McLaren is going to have quite a difficult season. There's something about their car that just doesn't look right. I don't know what it is, I'm not an expert, but I just feel something about their car doesn't look right. So I predict that McLaren is going to have a difficult season. They might even fall down the order a bit. And also not have that great time. And on top of that, because they are going to have a difficult season, I'm going to predict that Daniel Ricciardo is going to retire at the end of 2022, which is obviously very, very sad. And I hope it doesn't happen, but I'll predict it anyway. Then, I think AlphaTauri and Aston Martin are pretty much going to stay where they are. I don't expect them to make many gains. I mean, Aston Martin looks kind of chunky, but I don't expect them to make massive gains from that. Now, I do hope that Gasly's going to keep going as good as he is, because he might eventually get a top team seat again, hopefully in the future. Don't expect much from Tsunoda, and Vettel and Stroll, they're going to just keep existing, I suppose. And, I mean, maybe Stroll's going to win a race, but I'm not Josh Revel, so there's that. Then, we're going to go down the way to Haas, because I do predict that Mick Schumacher is going to get his first points in F1, because obviously he deserves it at this point, you know. He's clearly shown that he's driven that shitbox pretty well. I mean, he destroyed it also quite a lot, but he's driven it quite well, and I do think that the new Haas is going to be a lot better. And it's also got rid of that abysmal Russian flag design, so I think that is also going to bring at least 3/10 of more speed to the car, and then I do think that Mick Schumacher is going to get his first points, and I also think that he's going to score multiple times, but, well, I mean, who knows. Then we're going to go to Alpine, and is Alplan going to happen? Well, maybe, but what Alpine did with their engine is they clearly prioritized power over reliability, because obviously the engines get frozen now up till 2025, and you can't make any power gains anymore. You can only upgrade it for reliability. So I think Alpine went full out, went absolute balls to the wall with the power, and sacrificed reliability, which I think is going to give Fernando Alonso some McLaren flashbacks, because I predict that he is going to be the driver with the most DNFs in 2022, and most of them obviously are going to be mechanical, because obviously Alonso loves GP2 engines, so there is that. But he might even get a win, because if you have an unreliable but very strong engine, it might work sometimes, but who knows about that anyway. But yeah, I'm definitely going to predict that he is going to be the driver that has to retire the most, because I don't know, Ocon is kind of getting lucky a lot. I mean, he won last year, so I don't expect him to have the GP2 engine unluck. But I think that Alonso is going to get hit hard, and he's going to get flashbacks from his McLaren times. Well, there is not much left. There's only Williams and, well, Alfa Romeo. Williams, I think they're going to do decent. You know, they're going to do better than they did last year, but they're not going to do anything outstanding, and they are going to somewhat stay down there in the Constructors' Championship. I do think that the teams are going to get a bit closer together with how much points they're going to have, but I don't expect Williams to move up, and I do think that Albon is definitely going to beat Latifi, because he also did it in Formula 2. So, yeah, why not? I think Albon's going to beat Latifi. But who knows? I mean, Latifi might even become the driver's champion at the end of the year. If that does happen, I am going to eat a shoe. And for Alfa Romeo, I do predict that Bottas is going to get a podium, because obviously the Sauber is the only car that has actually hit the weight limit. So I think that Bottas is going to get a surprise podium this year and is going to do perfectly fine. However, for Guan Yu Zhou, I do think that he is going to end up at the bottom of the driver's table. Might be either Mazepin's replacement or him. That's what I think is going to end up at 20th. And speaking of shoes, you need shoes to walk and you need a track to race. So let's talk about the racetracks. Obviously, there's more races than ever this year. I mean, minus Russia, which got cancelled, which is nice. I mean, to be fair, I like driving the track in F1 2021, but the racing on it, yeah, besides last year, was pretty bad. And obviously, with where it is, let's not talk about that. Anyway, I hope it also doesn't come back, ever. And no Igor Drive either. Now, what is going to be the best race of 2022? I'm going to lean out the window and I'm going to say it is going to be Spa, because 2021 was absolutely horrible, but still Russell somehow got a podium. So I'm going to lean out the window and say that Spa is going to be the best race of the season. And I'm also going to predict that it's going to be won by Carlos Sainz. Maybe, because why not? Then, what is going to be the worst race, or the most boring race, rather? I'm going to bet that on Singapore if it does happen. So, yeah, there is that. Now, this is the predictions. What else do you think? What do you predict? Put it in the comments. What do you think is going to happen? Or do you even know what's going to happen? And with that said, thank you very much for watching. See you for the next one. Goodbye.